Right? Yeah.
Perfect. Let me know. And I can start? Cool. Most of the things that shape the world today don't necessarily sit neatly in one category alone. A shift in markets changes how companies behave, and that influences policy. And those decisions end up affecting people far beyond where they had initially started. What interests me is that overlap. Not just understanding individual subjects, rather seeing how everything connects to people who are actually working within it. I've always been drawn to that perspective, and not just learning ideas in isolation, but understanding how different people interpret what's happening around them, how their experiences shape their thinking, and how they approach situations that don't necessarily have the most obvious answers. The more I paid attention to that, the more I realized that no two people see the world in quite the same way, even when they're operating in similar spaces. My name is Sohrab Adnani, and that curiosity is what led me to create the Opportunity Index. It's a long-form conversation series where I sit down with people who are building, creating, and contributing in meaningful ways, and try to understand how they perceive the world and society today. The conversations aren't scripted, and they're not built around forcing simple conclusions. They're about perspective, about how someone thinks, what has influenced them over time, and how they make sense of the environments they're working within. We also spend time engaging with the broader developments shaping the world today, from economic shifts to political changes, and how those forces are experienced and interpreted by the people closest to them. The goal isn't necessarily to take sides or push a specific viewpoint, as this is completely nonpartisan, but to approach these topics in a way that is thoughtful, balanced, and grounded in real perspective, and most importantly, reality. Especially with how fast things are changing, I think it's important to have these conversations that take these developments seriously without reducing them to headlines or sound bites. What makes it interesting to me is the range of viewpoints that come out of it. Someone who has built something from the ground up and to see the opportunity and risk differently than someone working within larger systems. Someone who has worked across different environments will approach challenges differently than someone who has stayed in one single place. Those differences aren't something to smooth over or ground over. They're the point of the conversation. And over time, the series has also become a way of documenting how people who are actively involved in shaping different parts of the world are thinking within the moment. Not just what they've done, but how they interpret what's happening right now, how they adapt to change, and what they believe actually matters looking forward. For me, this started as a personal project. I wanted to explore these ideas in a way that felt more real, more realistic than anything I was finding on my own. And the best way to do that was, of course, to actually speak to the people behind the work. And over time, it's grown into something more intentional, a collection of conversations that reflect different ways of thinking, different paths, and different approaches to building something meaningful. For students, I think that there's something invaluable in that. A lot of what we see at our age is simplified. You see outcomes, you see titles, but you never see the thinking behind it or understand how someone has gotten there. This series is meant to bring that out in a way that feels honest, not by telling people what they should do, rather by giving them something more real to engage with. At the end of the day, it's not about having all of the answers at all. It's about being curious, enough to ask better questions, and open enough to learn from the people who see the world differently than you do. This is the Opportunity Index, and I'm looking forward to you coming and viewing my channel as a part of your journey as a student and as a change maker in our society today. Thank you.